Vectors have got direction. So how to represent direction? Suppose a body is moving in one dimension. That means the body is moving in a straight line. It can move in how many directions? 2. It can either move this way or that way. Right? Whenever we have got two options, we use plus and minus sign. Right? Charges are of two types. One type of charge we call it plus, other type of charge we call it minus. So same way, here we can use plus and minus sign for direction. We can call any direction positive. Opposite direction will become negative. So either you call this plus, then this becomes minus, or if you don't like that, there is no harm in calling this plus, then this will become minus. If a body is moving vertically in a straight line like this, we can call either upward as positive, or if you don't like that, we can call downward as positive. The opposite direction will become negative. So when a body is moving in one dimension, when a body is moving in a straight line, plus and minus are sufficient to specify the direction. But suppose a body is moving in 2 dimensions, like this it moves. Or is moving in 3D, it comes out, goes in, whatever happens. Moving in entire space in 3 dimensions. Then there are so many directions. So plus and minus will not help you to give the direction. You have to use vectors. How to represent a vector quantity? To represent any vector quantity, we write its name. Suppose we are looking at velocity vector, write V. Put an arrow on top. This becomes V vector. If you write A and put an arrow on top, this is A vector, right? If you write AB and put an arrow on top, typically it means a vector starting from A, ending at B. So AB is a vector here. So this is how we denote a vector quantity. Suppose we are interested only in the magnitude of the vector, not its direction. Then we write like this. Draw 2 parallel lines and write V vector means magnitude of V vector. Write like this, it means magnitude of A vector. And this will represent magnitude of AB vector, that mod sign, right? Writing this may be cumbersome, so many times we just write this as V. When you know V is a vector and you just write V, it means you look at only magnitude of V vector. This will write it as just A and this as AB. So this is how we are going to represent the vectors and their magnitudes, right? How will you graphically represent a vector? Geometrically represent a vector. You will draw a line, put an arrow. This becomes a vector, right? A vector is completely represented by a directed line segment. Line is supposed to be infinite length, segment is part of a line, directed means one side is having arrow. The side which has got arrow is called head of the vector, and which does not have arrow is called tail of the vector. So vector has got head and tail, right? This length of this line is proportional to magnitude of vector. So length is proportional to magnitude. If you draw a smaller line, it represents smaller magnitude. Bigger line, bigger magnitude. This may represent 2 meter northeast. Double this will be 4 meter northeast. Double of that will be 8 meter northeast. Right? But for a vector, direction also is important. So direction of this line gives direction of vector. So direction of line segment gives us direction of vector. This vector is 2 meter northeast. A vector like this is 2 meter east. A vector like this may be 2 meter south. All these three are different vectors. Magnitude is same, but direction is important. So vector is completely represented by a directed line segment. Length of the line segment is proportional to magnitude of vector, and direction of line segment gives us direction of vector. Right? Now, how to show a vector that is into the board or out of the board? How to show that? How to show a vector into the board, out of the board, or into the paper, out of the paper for you? We are writing on paper. A vector out of the board or out of the paper we show like this. This is like the front of an arrow. Front of an arrow will be a dot, right? So this is out of the paper or out of the board. A vector into the paper or into the board is a cross, right? From the back, arrow will look like a cross. So dot is out and cross is into. Right? Cross is into the paper, board, whatever, wherever you are drawing, and dot is out of the paper or board.